You've probably got the gist by now. I love talking about launching. So in line with my group program, which focuses on the marketing side of launching coming to life, I thought it might be interesting to share more of what that process looks like as a whole, and really the 5 stages that I go through from initial concept and initial idea to launching it publicly and bringing it to life. The first place that I begin with this process is stage number 1, obviously. And for me, this looks like having the spark of an idea. Now, this can come from anything. It could be that I realize that there's a gap in my business, maybe in terms of a topic that I'm sharing or a price point that I'm not covering. It could be that someone has asked something of me that I don't do and I've thought, hey, maybe I could do that. Or quite frankly, it could just be that I'm bored and I want to do something and give myself a challenge. It really can come from anywhere. But for me, this first stage really just looks like sitting with that initial spark of an idea and letting it develop. It may sound silly, but the biggest test for me of whether I'm going to pursue an idea is whether it excites me. I've learned over the years that when an idea excites me, it very often excites other people too. And also when something excites me, I feel so much better and it feels so much easier to share it with the world, talk about it loads, and ultimately then deliver it and enjoy delivering it. For me, this first stage isn't about speaking to anyone else or getting their opinions, but really just allowing myself to see what this could look like. The most important thing to me, past something exciting me about an idea, is that it really feels like it answers a question in the business. I am so not about just bringing something out for the sake of it. So it's really important to me at this stage, when I'm kind of coming up with the first degree of the concept, that it really clearly answers a question, solves a problem, meets a need, and delivers something that the things that I've already got going and the things that I'm already launching and selling and doing don't already do. And really this would be kind of concept version number 1. And once I feel good about that and I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is something to pursue, I'll then go on to stage number 2, which is where I begin to speak to some other people and really just flesh out whether the idea truly feels like a good fit for the business. I think so often we go straight to the question of, does it feel a fit for other people and do other people want it? And of course that's important, we'll get to that stage, but actually the more that I run my business and the more that I value how my business is working for me and the clearer that I get about what that looks like, the more important I realize it is at an early stage to really just ask the question of, is this working for me? Often the kind of first part of this stage is speaking to Emily, my team member, who obviously, aside from me, is the most clued up on the business. And Emily is such a valuable person in this process because she has the business's best interests at heart. She knows the business inside and out, but she comes at things from a completely different perspective and angle to me. So often we will be sat, nowadays on a Zoom call, used to be over probably some hula hoops in an office space in London, and I will just tell her the idea, often tripping over my words because I'm quite excited about it, and then she will just question it and give me her thoughts. This stage is really important to me because Emily will really take something from, okay, this is a crazy idea I've had, to here is what it would look like for us to do this, and actually here is how we can wrestle out some of the question marks that still sit within it. More often than not, if something gets the kind of Emily tick of approval and we've kind of developed it to that another level, I'll then go and have conversations with some other people that again, just come from different perspectives. This might be Joe, who's my business mentor, who really helps me to look at kind of the well-being aspects and how it's working for me in my mental health. It might be Steph, who sometimes helps me with my kind of systems and processes. And again, she comes at it from a different angle of maybe looking at the pricing or the business development that sits within it. And then I'll often just have chats with friends as well. My kind of friends in business are forever getting unsolicited voice notes from me of just going, I've had this idea, here's my initial thoughts, what do you reckon? And really this stage is just about taking it from that first concept and talking it through to the point where I really feel clear on, okay, if I was gonna do this, I know that it works for my business, and I also have an idea of what it might actually look like to make this happen. And really once an idea has gone through the stage and it obviously still feels like a good fit, I'll then go to the third stage, which is really about then asking the question of, do other people want it? And how do they want it? This is obviously such an important thing. I can't just bring something to life because it excites me. It needs to be a good fit for my audience as well. Now, I would say I've got to a point in business where my gut instinct and kind of knowledge of my audience is pretty good, in the sense of at this point, I'll feel pretty clear that it's definitely something they want, because often it has come from someone asking for it or me knowing that it's something that people want more of. So really this stage often looks like, how am I going to deliver this in the best way for them? It's so important to me that the way that I deliver, whatever it might be, whatever expertise it might have, in the way that is best suited to people. And actually, I don't often know that best. This stage looks absolutely different for every single concept, but sometimes it's speaking to past or current clients about it, maybe putting out a survey and asking more in-depth questions. But really the purpose of this stage is to take it from here is the idea to here is the way that I'm going to deliver the idea, and here is how that delivery is best suited to the people that it's for. I recently had an experience which just proved the value of this stage, because the impact of what I wanted to bring to life was absolutely in line with what people wanted, but actually the way that I thought they would want it was completely out of line with what was going to be a good fit for them. So this stage is so important, and I do take all of that kind of input and feedback with a pinch of salt. I don't take everything as absolute truth, because not everything is going to be a perfect fit for everyone, but I absolutely value those opinions and those kind of thoughts so much, because those people help me take it from the stage of I love the idea, it's exciting, to okay, people definitely want this, and I also know how they want it. And I know and feel confident that whatever I'm bringing to life is going to be the best fit for the people that it's for. Which brings us on to stage 4, which for me is really about landing on the messaging for it. Generally at this point, if you ask me what the idea is, I'll probably take 2 to 3 minutes to explain it to you. And the purpose of this stage is to get it from that waffly 2 to 3 minute explanation to a really snappy name and a really snappy way of explaining it. You know, before we get to stage number 5, which is the actual launch process and bringing it to life, I need to first have really solid foundations in place and know that the way I'm communicating it with people is super clear and actually makes sense and also lines up with the thing that I'm bringing to life. So at this point, I'll generally put my kind of more marketing brain on, zoom out on the idea that I've got, and really just begin to clarify the message of it. It's at this stage where I'm really wanting to get clear on who is it for, why do they need it, what is the impact, and how am I delivering it? And allowing those things to be said in a really succinct way not only sets me up so well for the next stage, which is launching it, but also just helps me again to go through another stage of clarification. Often at this stage, I'll actually just write the sales page, and that is such a helpful process. It's quite painful sometimes, but very helpful in just forcing me to turn things from an idea to really solid words and a really solid set of language that I can then use throughout the launch process. So once that messaging feels clear, and obviously all of those boxes are ticked of good fit for me, good fit for others, and the messaging is great, I'll then go to stage number 5, which is what we would more kind of traditionally think of as the launch process. This is the stage that I personally love and that is super creative and super fun, where I just get to think about how I want to bring this to life. I am so led by excitement and energy that more often than not, this is quite a quick process. It's often a matter of days or about a week from that initial idea to the point where I'm ready to think about bringing it to life. So at this point, it's about putting some timelines in place, which I've probably already discussed with Emily when we talk it through, and really just begin to think about how I'm going to bring it to life. I'm obviously not able to share the whole launch process within this video. You can sign up to the 5-day thing if you're more interested in what this point looks like. But to kind of give you it in a snapshot, what I really do at this stage is just think, what are all the things that I want to say about this thing in order to launch it, and where are all the places that I can say that? I know that sounds oversimplified, but really launching is just about speaking louder and speaking clearer. So it's really important to me that once I've gone through that messaging stage and I feel clear on what I want to say, I then just think of all the different ways that I can say that and all of the different angles that I can come from. I'll often pull together something like this. This was my kind of launch plan for the retreat, which was a couple of months back. And it basically just outlines, here's all of the content that I'm going to do based off of where I'm putting it and what it's going to be about. And then comes the terrifying / very exciting stage of just pressing go, sharing it with the world and seeing what happens. That is obviously a process, and those 5 steps are something that I've really developed and landed on over the last few years. But this process now serves me so well to just go through all of the necessary kind of steps and question marks in bringing something to life in the best way possible. So if that is a process that you are currently going through within your business, or perhaps one that you know you're going to go through in the future, and you want to learn more about really what stages 4 and 5 look like of bringing together the messaging and really putting together the marketing side of the launch, then I would love to see you in the 5-day thing. It's a group program over 5 days through live videos and worksheets. I'm going to be walking you through everything it takes to do those final 2 stages and take something from being an idea to being something that you are sharing with the world in number 1, the most impactful way, but number 2, the most easy, non-salesy and fun way too. All of the info is in the link in my bio. If you want to find out more, just go and click that and save a space if it feels like a fit. But that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed getting an insight into what my kind of launch and idea and concept process looks like. I'm so excited if you are doing the thing, and if you're not, I mean, missing out.